It continues, my friends, under geopolitical turmoil, rain or shine. In Berlin or out of Berlin, I'm getting used to being on the road here. Welcome back, everyone. Artist Journal, November 9th, 2023, broadcasting from the ancient city of Ortija. My dad was calling it the New York of the ancient world. Beautiful. Down in Sicily. My name's Adrian Pocobelli, and welcome back. It's do or die. It is do or die, my deadline here. It's kind of fun putting this challenge together of doing this 4 times a week on video. Because it's kind of a lesson for me in art making, and I wish I applied it more to my art. And I think I still kind of aspire to. It's sort of one thing at a time, I suppose. Maybe this is in a weird way easier, but in a sense it's not, because at the end of the day, from the very beginning of this show, I said to myself, it doesn't matter what you're turning in. The only thing that matters, like, you want it to be good, but the only thing that matters is that you file your work. And so I still aspire to do that within reason on the artistic front. So let's see here. I've just gotten used to being on the road. I think today was the first day where it didn't feel like friction from being on the road. As I prepare to go back, 2.5 weeks in here and on Saturday. So one more show from the New York of the ancient world here, as my dad poetically put it. So we are starting with this, and I thought this was a very, very interesting situation. First, of course, it is a beautiful work here. This is Tezos, continuing the portrait series, and what we see is a still that has been printed out as kind of like a Polaroid. It almost looks like it has been kind of cut out here. You see, it's not perfect, and it makes you wonder if this is almost referring to Polaroid without being Polaroid. And it's kind of got a little bit, just an echo of that kind of Warhol Polaroid feel. I don't know if Warhol wrote across it here, Eagle Saka, for example, for the name. All to say, I adore this series, but there's more than just the interesting, beautiful portrait. And look at this, Tezos. As usual with this series, I'll mail the highest portrait off a one-off print. Mail them a one-off print, and of course, Tezos out of Montreal. Now, what I find so interesting about this, though, is, of course, this is a still that is based on this work here, right? So, you know, as I like to say, traveling through the mediums. And what I find interesting, so first, of course, Tezos starts with maybe an image, then puts the image into video, puts whatever glitching processing, let's say, happens, selects a frame, and we often find this kind of stage of the journey is often minted, where it'll be like, okay, here is the frame, and who knows, maybe Tezos has done that. Interesting how Tezos co-authored it. No, just the work itself, and that gorgeous portrait of Sky Goodman. We haven't even looked at max capacity. Maybe next episode we'll go back in time a little bit. Cool. I never even saw that one. But what we often see the screenshot, though, the screen capture, the frozen frame of, say, a highlight from, say, this work here. And so that is often what we find minted, is where I'm going with this. And that is sometimes, I think, and I've bought some works like that, but it's kind of not as exciting to a certain degree as the moving version, right? I think there's almost a premium, and feel free to disagree with me, just a kind of passing thought, an opinion, that there is a premium in a sense on the moving glitch image over the still glitch image. However, when we turn it into a kind of Polaroid, and I think it's very important, this kind of Polaroid format here, it kind of turns into something else, and the importance of the frozen frame is reestablished. That is where I'm going with this, is that once we've kind of put it in a new medium, again, a photo that has been turned into video that has been printed, right? Kind of glitched video that has been printed. Once we've kind of gone from basically photo or maybe digital photo to video to print, it kind of takes on a new meaning, a new visual meaning. And that, my friends, is why I wanted to start with this today. There were a few really cool contenders, as we're going to see here today, but it was really this traveling through the mediums, which really, I guess I haven't seen too many glitched out video. We've seen a ton of analog video glitch, but not a ton of it printed. And I'm back to this idea that this Polaroid format may be, as well as the marker, I think is crucial here, is maybe, as the biologists call it, the missing link. So really cool work here by Tezos. Tezos deserves a lot of credit for, remember the furniture series? Like for kind of trying something different, doing different things. He's showing range, and we're going to talk about range here in a second. But he's showing a lot of range by working with physical as well. Again, really cool artist here. So great way to start here. So I just want to give a big shout out and thank you, especially to Demon Ego, for the awesome space yesterday. Again, for those that struggle with English, I encourage you to listen to this because me and Runetoon, or Runetoon and I, Mom's edit. Mom is the editor's edit, and we'll get into the editor's editor. And Runetoon and I purposefully speak slowly and kind of loudly our words. So if anybody's kind of concerned, and we will help you along to those that struggle. And I wouldn't even know, honestly, like Demon Ego was great out of Turkey. And a really awesome, interesting discussion just on digital and physical horror films. Demon Ego's background, probably where the name came from. So just a great space. Thank you. And look, 259 tuning in. Nice numbers. And this was hilarious. Uxine, happy birthday, Mrs. Pocobelli. Again, the editor's editor here. I passed on the message, and then look at this. Much love, by the way. Jake Studio is probably referring to Simpsons NFT episode. I should have figured that out. I watched a few clips. I actually find the Simpsons hard to watch. I watched about a minute of it, and I can't watch the Simpsons anymore. It feels just very recycled. I don't know what the word is, actually. Recycled's not it's just, the joke is done, but it's really cool that they were talking about it, and there's something to be said for it. But really, who watches The Simpsons anymore? But all to say, that must be the reference. Of course, NFTs were discussed in The Simpsons. That went around. This is what I wanted to highlight, though. Lorraine Pocobelli, by the way, Mrs. Pocobelli, has responded, Uxine. I think she's still learning Twitter, so she put it up here just in the main replies. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes, Uxine. I'm a great admirer of your work and really appreciate your thoughtful message. So that is beautiful. So big shout out and thank you to Uxine, and thank you to everybody else who wished Mom a happy birthday as well. Let me actually just make sure we got all the happy birthdays for Mom here very quickly here. And there is Rata. Thank you, Rata. Ariel, the ship remains unstoppable. Awesome. Pixarare Ortija. Yeah, and that's where I was when I read that message. Gave a little, yeah, that beautiful. There's some really nice restaurants that look on the coast. The sun's over here, so it'll come down at sunset there. And thank you, everybody. Cider and everybody. There we go. Nagar, happy birthday to Mrs. Pocobelli. And Machine, great to hear from you. Vinny Hagar and Mobo Tato, happy birthday. And I wanted to get all the birthday wishes because Mom Watch is here. Thank you, Trippy. And happy birthday from Little Cakes, Pocobelli Mama. So just awesome. And thank you, B. And I think and this space has contributed to that is becoming more and more patent that as individuals in a society, we do have agency in the daily creation of our shared reality. Yeah, interesting. Adding to Retro Manny's comment, in a sense, that is very much what we're doing here, isn't it? Even with this object, like I think of object, for example, and I don't know why other platforms don't imitate this more closely, that red notification thing that's at the top right that says, oh, an artist minted a work. For me, it's like, it's my Facebook. Like I don't use Facebook, but I'll go to object and check the notifications, you know, and so like this kind of notification thing symbol we see here. So I'm surprised other platforms don't do it, but almost it becomes a news feed of sorts, interestingly. In a weird way, I still think we maybe are 2 or 3 centuries ahead. I say, you know, provocatively, with this newspaper of the imagination business. I suspect, you know, I say that war will last forever, but I do suspect there will be a point in human civilization where we will start to figure things out on a deeper level. And at that point, one could argue the newspaper of the imagination actually becomes the dominant form of news. One could very speculatively, pataphysically, provocatively state here. So let's continue here. There's a ton to get through. Skomra. Great show. Thanks for showing Tezos Artist. That was a great title, by the way. I've tried doing some tracing by hand. So I was wondering if it was all traced by hand or if the AI was helping trace it. I even have one of those neo-lucidist to trace physical objects, but the results are not as good as the idiosyncrasies of the AI, which I find super interesting. It's a skill that I haven't picked up yet. Hopefully someday I'll be able to trace like the AI. Machine's work is amazing, so happy to see you feature it today. Now, I'm going to, in the spirit of keeping these shorter, I'm not going to read every single comment. I've sort of lapsed into that, but thank you for the comment here. And thank you, Tom Bombattle, PP Universal, Pixel Lord, and Rada. Very interesting topics and comments. Thank you. Nomad Potato. There's a lot. Happy birthday to Mrs. Pocobelli and Hugo. Happy birthday to Mom. So thank you, everybody, for the comments and everything. Ordinal's Wallet. This is something that, you know, we are in the NFT business here, and Bitcoin surpasses Ethereum in 24-hour NFT sales volume for the first time in history. And I thought this kind of dovetailed quite nicely with our on-chain art discussion. Because, of course, if you mint on Bitcoin, it's basically what I think we could call on-chain. It's not even called minting, it's inscribing, right? Like you're putting the data on the blockchain. So that is interesting. And look at that, $18 million, by the way, 24-hour sales volume. I mean, that is actually really impressive. And I'm not just like, that's just Bitcoin. Look at this, $14 million on Ethereum. And we might say with Ethereum, it's probably actually similar to Bitcoin. I mean, a lot of this is profile picture projects, all sorts of weird stuff. Maybe even like rare sats, like they say in Bitcoin. Solana, $1 million? I mean, that's pretty impressive. Mythos, $1 million here. Polygon, even 672,000. These aren't terrible numbers. I mean, are NFTs really dead with, like, if we add this all up, $35 million of 24-hour volume? I mean, we're not in a, like, I mean, we've seen some hints of a bull market, but we are not in a bull market. That is, remarkably healthy. If you ask me what I thought they would be, it'd be like 4 million would be my guess. So, and that didn't even have Tezos. Maybe that's because Tezos price is so low. Versum is officially no longer allowing the creating any new listings. Will allow for collecting until the 14th. After that, only canceling will work. So a lot of people kind of are sad about Versum closing. I'm one of them. I thought it was a really nice platform. It never really super caught on. Like, I mean, if we were to do a little bit of dissection and analysis, I think what it came down to, perhaps, is maybe it was the homepage that was totally kind of a free-for-all, in a sense. And that was kind of part of the charm. You could just, it was like a news feed. But it kind of shows to a certain degree the value of curation, because the problem with the free-for-all feed on the homepage is whoever decides they want to just kind of spam the homepage can. And so an interesting kind of situation there. Anyways, who knows why they actually closed? Just speculations here. Versum official no longer allowing minting because they're shutting down. So mech.txt, who I do follow, that is a Twitter glitch or an X glitch. Show me the range of your visual style. So that is a very wonderful thing to celebrate. So mech.txt, celebrating the aspect of range because, of course, I'll never forget Richard Prince had this video. It's worth finding, actually, by, what is the name? Vice. If you look for a Vice Richard Prince interview, it's really good because Richard Prince has done very different styles, similar to Gerhard Richter, which is, one is, let's call them the cowboys that are photographs of cowboys, right? Which I think is actually what got him rich, appropriated, or got him started, established is what I'm trying to say. And then there's, of course, the nurse paintings, right? And then there's this recent ones with record covers. And I mean, Richard Prince has done a lot of different styles. So, as he says in that interview, the art world always wants to put you in a box. You're the guy that does the cowboy photographs, right? And he was explaining how that was something that he has to deal with, and how in his daily practice, he says he'll start the morning doing a nurse, then he'll go over to this other series where he was using a photograph, and then cropping the photograph, and then drawing, what's missing around it. I can't remember what he called that series, but all to say, range is something to be celebrated. It's the way to do it, I think, is to be consistent with it. Stick with it for a while. Don't go crazy and do everything. Pick some, if you want to have range, pick those series and really explore them over time and not just one-offs here and there. So show me the range of your visual style. I just thought that was a great tweet. Sky Goodman. Ride each warm snow particle from the TV screen, snap it, PNG it, make it yours, paint on analog with AI, paint on top of the painting that was television, that was abstracted from the form. Who can remember the original? I really like that last question here, because you can use, in a sense, other works as springboards to get to new works. It's sort of like climbing the ladder in Platonism and then throwing away the ladder. So I thought this was just a cool tweet, and it kind of speaks for itself here. And, it also speaks to Sky Goodman, who I also follow. Exporting. Loves exporting. Safe Dave. I just found out that I can change the canvas options in Procreate and change the DPI to 300 and the format size. That's crazy. I've always worked with default settings. Having gotten that amount of detail out of my works is now very impressive in retrospect. So I thought that was just an interesting, so you can change the resolution in Procreate. Something to think about. Helio Santos with some new plotting here. Now is the time to paint a huizage. This is not a copy of a digital image. This is not a print. It is a painting in itself. I would say, especially in Helio Santos's case, it is like going out to paint outdoors in the hyperspace where the synthetic image is taken and we can only access through the machines. Kind of pairs nicely, I think, with Sky Goodman's tweet there, and we see, Helio Santos at work with the pen plotter, or the paint plotter, I should say, and there's actually a video here too. Let us bring that up. So there's something, quite special about what Helio Santos is doing. In a sense, after the Art Matter discussion, it brings new appreciation to what Helio Santos is doing here. Because to a certain degree, it's like a different kind of path of actually, you wonder, there is texture here. I'm just wondering, could you put a little bit of gel in what's probably an acrylic paint? Maybe it's an oil paint, not sure, but all to say, super interesting and cool. royal blue and cerulean blue and titanium white. So that must be the color of the blue. You know, and speaking of range, Heliosantos, all things come from the earth. So this is on Zora. So this is some of Heliosantos. I'm not sure if this is AI or just digital. It looks like just digital. I don't see the exact AI distortion, so it looks just digital. We'll open that up very quickly if it opens, and then we will continue to run here. Let's see if, let's continue here and see if, here we go. Let's keep running here. Joao Salazar, and then we'll come back to that in a second here. Also painting, and of course Joao does those plasticine works. So here, this looks like there's a ton of gel in here. You know, medium. Not clear if it's, it almost, you know what's funny about this? It almost looks like it's the Art Matter style where you do it all in white first, but I don't think that's what's going on here. Because each stroke looks like, well, it's hard to say, actually. It's hard to say if this was made in plasticine first and painted over or not, but it looks like this is a straight up brush stroke here in this yellow there. So just interesting and beautiful. I'll let you ponder that. Here it is, synthetic image, so not clear from Heliosantos in that last one. This is, of course, Joao Salazar. Really talented physical painter and artist there. Martin Brook also. I think it's Martin Bruce, if I'm not mistaken. Just some painting here. And since I find Martin's work so interesting, I thought maybe we could show some of this. And this is just kind of a really interesting work here. Again, showing range, the importance of range. And I quite like that orange, by the way. And look, there's a bit of a snake. And then there's the shadow with the plant. It almost looks like a drama is unfolding. Very cool there. Toux, Mind's Eye Tempest, spotted in the wild in LA. Volume LA, Vellum LA. This piece is owned by the great artist and collector Lars Nagler, and it is actually listed for sale on Super Rare for 1 ETH. Picture by Danielle Cantor. So there it is, a toux on the side of a building, and here is the work. So pretty cool AI artwork by Toux, who is an incredibly interesting artist, and I have just tried to post the spaces on Spotify, having a bit of issues there. I think it still thinks it's a draft, even though it's new. Anyway, they're coming. They are basically up online, but I just need to tweak something on Spotify. John Thurman. I can't believe this is even real, but it seems to me my piece, Good Morning from Crypto Winter, was selected for display at Beeple's Crypto Winter Wonderland event on December 16th. I am beside myself. And a very cool looking kind of Peter Bruegel-esque, I think, AI, and there's the GM. So congrats to John Thurman and also to Rinnyfish. My work Onomatopoeia will be showcased at Beeple's Studio on December 16th. Can't believe it, but this is real. And what's cool about this is, as far as this whole NFT scene is concerned, I mean, Beeple really probably is the most famous. I mean, probably more famous than Xcopy. I mean, almost everybody's heard of Beeple because of that, you know, it was on CNBC's front page there, as well as many other newspapers with that $69 million sale in, I think it was February 2021. So it's pretty cool if you're, you know, making digital NFTs to get to show there. Very cool. And an interview by the great people at One of One, who are going to be on a future space in 2 or 3 weeks. Pretty as a picture, an interview with artist Somfe. So they've been doing wonderful work here, which is why I continue to just kind of point to it. It is oneofoneart.substack.com, so check that out. Interview with Somfe. And continuing on, this is super interesting, just going back to our discussion on the art market. Revealed the major mystery consigners of New York's multi-billion-dollar fall auction season. So that's not what I wanted to highlight. It's here. Market conditions have changed considerably, but there are still plenty of trophies set to trade hands. So this is by Katya Kazakina, the art detective here. And what's great about her private Twitter feed is she'll often show some of these articles. And basically, it's kind of back to where we were earlier, which is There's consternation in the trad contemporary art world market. And let me just, the stakes couldn't be higher. Each house, auction house, assumed a huge amount of risk to win consignments in a volatile economic and geopolitical environment, further exacerbated by the war in Israel. Now they are scrambling to offset the in-house guarantees to third-party investors, which will cut into potential revenue. And this is the quote. Quote, "This is a really big moment," an auction executive said this week. "If we can survive these sales, it will set a positive tone for the next year. If not, 2024 is going to be ugly. The specter of cost-cutting and layoffs loom." So, as you can see here, and some people, there are sellers, people are selling. I mean, really, I think it comes down to people are concerned about the economy and that maybe, you know, the delayed reaction of interest rate hikes is, you know, what do they call it? Long and variable lags in interest rate policy. Kind of off topic here, but why are they selling now? Discretionary sales in volatile times seems counterintuitive. On the other hand, plenty of exciting artworks are on the market at the moment, both publicly and privately. Some collectors are parting with works opportunistically to raise funds for other works they want to acquire. To me, that sounds very optimistic. I have a feeling a lot of people are frankly in it for the speculation as an investment, and they're looking to, you know, they see troubled waters, choppy waters, and are heading for cash or heading for cover. Others just want to upgrade their art holdings and need dry powder. Nothing that's said here, though, is people are trying to get out, which may be another aspect. Quote, "Every collector buys, sells, prunes, and trades. It's just the way it is. If you own hundreds of works, it's not a big deal." So kind of downplaying what's going on here. I suspect something bigger is going on, is my take on it. And so, yeah, I think we can leave it there. Continuing on, so art newspaper, Christie's 21st Century Evening Sale fell short of expectations. Look at this genius Cy Twombly here, Bacchus first verse. That is one of the nicest Cy Twomblys I've ever seen. Opening New York's autumn auction sale on an uneasy note. So the consternation here continues. Several wet paint works soared while multiple blue chip lots underperformed. I mean, it's pretty expensive. Defying conventional market wisdom. Like, all I know is the value is to be found really on Tezos, maybe a little bit on Ethereum, depending on, but I mean, if you're looking to invest and make money in these there's so much art out there. You know, it's sort of like Gerhard Richter said, there's too much art. And I thought that was kind of easy for him to say, but I kind of take his point at the same time. There is almost too much art out there, and I think it actually devalues the whole, like, do you need to spend $2 million on a Warhol? There's a lot of great work out there. Like, it's just, like, that's, and I love Warhol, as a lot of you know, and here's some of the works. I mean, these could have been shown on this show, frankly. But they're going for hundreds of thousands and more. So all interesting. Continuing on, Spiegel's Maskinian, the desktop. Spiegel's Maskinian. Cool. I would call this like a trailer. With the beautiful music. I think from Abnormal, which is a great series, by the way. Really putting in a nice effort here. But have you ever seen a commercial for like a contemporary art show? Spiegel.xyz, just brilliant. And what's smart about this is this video, because it's just Spiegel.xyz, this can be reused and reused. It's not like when the show's over, you can't reuse that. Continuing on, some print editions also from Spiegel's, and let's just look at this. Great signature, by the way. You know, the signature matters, I would argue, to a certain degree. Look at that nice big signature there. It can really add to a work, let's put it that way. And really nice color. And this could be screen printed. It's probably just inkjet, I assume. But don't forget, because these are two colors, they could actually really easily be screen printed. And look at that. Look at how beautiful that looks. So 1 of 10. So I think, does the print come with the model? So just really cool here from Spiegel's Meskinen, and I think Uxine picked up one of these. And here we've been looking at these infinite objects, and here Neurocolor, Helix trapped in an infinite object. So just another look at one of these infinite objects here. As we see how the digital world is kind of manifested physically here, and of course Clown Vamp, another print here, example of a print. We got our William Apen print from We Are Unit London, who again is trying to cross over somewhat into NFTs a little bit, back from the framer and right to the bedroom wall. So I think that's a generative artist, quite well known. I don't know too much about actually William Apen, to be honest, drawing and painting with code, among other things, but seems very prominent. Cool work. So continuing on, Rada. Once again, apologies for the delays in the face of repeating myself too much. Thank you for your patience, and I hope you do, and I hope not to do this again once in a lifetime. So this is based on this NFT ticket that Rada put out here. Collectors can trade their ticket or burn it to claim a physical envelope sent by mail. And so here are some of the examples. And now Rada has to get to work and make a whole bunch of these things. Look at how great they look, though. There's something to be said for having to work kind of fast and hard and all at once. So just really cool. I kind of wish I picked up one of these NFT tickets. Look at this. So documenting everything and just very cool. So some physical Radas out there. I'm trying glowing acrylics too, but I think I got scammed. Also dark light ink for encrypted messages. So just a really awesome artist, as you can see here. Very cool. And we talked about the what you get with all that in a previous episode. Gregor Zanardi, or I think this is Greco. I have finished this painting. I believe, maybe, I'm not, Gregorio Zanardi. Maybe this is someone else. Anyways, another just interesting painting out of the scene here with this interesting portrait here with the huge green eyes that kind of match the suit here. Continuing into the art, the NFT digital art here, Runetune, Buckhorn Bar, and let me just show you here. In Laramie, Wyoming, the Buckhorn Bar has a huge mirror, I believe it's this one, cracked by gunfire. The cause of the bullet hole is something of a myth. The story changes depending on who you ask and who you know. And I thought this was a beautiful work here. You know, it was tempting to start with this, the great color here, and just a beautiful, I'm not sure, I assume this is all digital. But not positive on that. It looks like it's probably done in Procreate, but I am actually not sure. Maybe Runetune will weigh in, but a beautiful composition and full-bodied work here. Kind of an ambitious composition with all of the bodies in here. And just really nice piece here from Runetune. And there is the band, and just great lighting, and even the composition over here. Just very nice piece here. Let's just see how it's doing on the market. Looks like, is it, and it is sold out, or a few accepted offer of 25 from Wary Squirrel, one from Anonymous Wallet, and I may need to reload this page here. And let's just look here. So, okay, so holding on to a few right now, maybe waiting for offers. Check the Twitter feed to learn more. Beautiful work from Runetune. 10 of 10 just minted now. Continuing on, No Pink from Bazaya. So another super interesting, cool portrait. I feel like we're seeing a evolution, or just let's call it this, continued development from Bazaya here on these portraits. Like they seem to be getting crisper and more just kind of tighter in a good way. And so just another interesting piece here, probably someone anonymous with really cool glasses, and just another really cool work. Again, the Gucci appropriated into the Adidas shirt here. Again, looking like an oil painting. And interestingly, with this bouquet in the background, you know what that reminds me of? And almost this dark green is Raphael. We'll see if we can bring it up super fast here. Raphael, the, what do they call it? The furnace. El Fornio? La Fornarina. Kind of a risque title from back in the Renaissance. If you look at this work right here, it's going to look almost like a really dark black background. But if you look at this work, which I believe, what is the name of that Palazzo Barberini in Rome? It is worth it. It's the last image you're going to see. And let me see if we can bring up a version of that really quickly. It's a very important work here. You see how there's green behind it there? Here we go. So almost all the reproductions you're going to see of this work online do not do this work justice. As you can see here, it looks like it's almost dark in the background. But this work, the magic of one of the last works that Raphael did, the magic of it is, and I'll have to stop, is the green in the background. And you can't notice it here online. But because I've seen this painting many times online, and I'm going to close this window, just look at the dark background. When you see it in person at Barberini in Rome, you'll see it's a dark green and that it's full of plants. And then you go, oh, this is a masterpiece. This isn't just like some pretty picture of his girlfriend. This is a masterpiece, a late masterpiece by Raphael. So, and it's kind of a surprise at the end of the, you go through the entire museum. There's some okay works, nothing kind of too special. And then you go to the last room and you kind of turn a corner and there you're faced with this masterpiece here. So all to say, when I see plants, dark green plants in the background, I'm thinking of Raphael, La Fornarina, if I've got that right. Sumi Reusi, and let's kind of run through the rest of this episode here. Bad Tooth. I thought this was a really interesting kind of diptych. It's kind of got a bit of a comic feel in the narrative progression. And what you see here is maybe the view from the mirror, like the view kind of straight on at Sum. And then you see Sum's perspective juxtaposed, which I think is quite interesting conceptually and quite well done. Just an interesting painting here. I also really like, the bathroom mirror and sink kind of as subject matter. And then you have kind of what's kind of a disturbing image. Not overly disturbing, but a little bit. And this tooth, and kind of really nicely done. Just an interesting piece here. For Tezos 30, edition of 25, there are 7 left. Huge file, 10,000 by 6,000. And continuing on, Wasteman Goldminovich, Strip Mall General. Interesting title here. And there you see what looks like some graffiti, maybe V is for Vanguard, and a Pepe tattoo, kind of nicely painted, I think in Microsoft Paint, if I'm not mistaken. And everything here, so balaclava, cigarette, and a basketball uniform. Cool work by Wasteman Goldminovich. And here is Quila Nina, Moon and Fire. Is the name of the series, The Story of the River. And I got this big, this is a free mint, so 134 minted so far. And I brought this up big on Twitter here. So another, I believe this is a straight up Procreate work. So a straight up digital work here from Quila Nina, who started with acrylics, but only started with Procreate about maybe a year ago. And really interesting to watch that development take place. And so kind of one of these visionary mystical painters here. As you can see, look at the, these threads hanging from whatever is being made here. Maybe it's a music instrument that this person is making, the subject matter. There's kind of or maybe it's weaving, maybe it's making clothes, not exactly sure. Just really cool work. And the water really kind of delicately done. The leaves. Again, has a kind of a distant echo of a Henri Rousseau to it. And even the volcano here, just a cool painting. Picture of our current reality, cool title from Rosetto. And here's a fish head coming from the surface here. And remember we were talking about the eyeballs and how often these elements can be reused. And here's a fire. Almost has a De Chirico feel to this one with the, I think what you'd call the arcade and the train, often representing time. This is almost a toy train. And of course, the moon, instantly recognizable as Rosatio, digital collage and digital drawing. Edition of 20 for 8 Tezos each, and there are 15 left, just minted. Look at Santiago, a new work here, GM. So making it look very easy. I mean, this work looks like it was made in a few minutes here, but really cool looking work, I'd say. And, getting a nice response here too. Gotta love this kind of diagonal in the corner here, these diagonal pixels. We were seeing that with someone else, maybe it was Santiago, these diagonal pixels done here too. Interesting. We're so used to seeing pixels kind of right way up, so to speak, or straight on. Diagonal pixels are quite interesting. So just another beautiful piece. RJ, a couple of works here. Kind of a bit of a leap in style, some experimentation from RJ here. So playing with, what I'd call classic RJ subject matter, maybe what I like to call a spectral pastiche, or based on Hockneys, let's say, or hoppers, using AI to get new paintings and then using that to pastiche, why I call it spectral pastiche. Across the border, cool title. And, ambiguity here. Is this a mirror or is this another room, right? And so interesting here. And this right here does not necessarily resolve it because it almost looks like a mirroring. That kind of almost makes it look like a mirror. But hard to say. So kind of, again, reminds you of that Manet where you're not sure if with the woman at the bar, very famous, and you're not sure if the background is the room or a mirror. Kind of reminiscent there. This was tweeted out by RJ, earlier version with a white background. So you see here, let me just bring it up here. So here's with the black background, deciding to go with the black background or the dark background, and here's with the white, which has a bit more of a sketchbooky kind of feel to it, doesn't it? So interesting there. Internal family system. This was a one of one that I think RJ put on a very short auction, if I'm not mistaken. It was just like an hour auction, or no, it was a full, what is today, the 9th? So it was a full day auction, actually. Only went for 45 Tezos, snuck under the radar there. Stefano Colfry manages to pick this up. Cool work here. One of one RJ selling for only 45 Tezos. So lucky collector there. And you gotta love the stairs that go up to the wall there. Very cool work here, as usual. And this is one that came out a few days ago. As you see, October 20th, at least almost 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was on RJ's page and I was like, I completely missed this one, because this one, I would have been tempted to start with this one too. I mean, this great reference to Magritte. This is a really great Magritte painting that RJ did a pastiche of, the Pepe Voyance, after René Magritte's La Clairvoyance from 1936. Didn't realize this was so early. And there it is, classic. I mean, you just see here the style. I mean, Magritte was a very stylish painter. And you see it here, just very cool conceptually. There's humor. Remember we talked about dark humor? There's a book that André Breton put out that's very important on, I think it's called Black Humor. And he gives literary examples. Ambrose Bierce, Marquis de Sade, another very important, maybe even a little bit of Jarry, Alfred Jarry, and others. This was a very important aspect to surrealism. And here, there's a bit of humor here, you could argue, as the guy looks on the egg, and then it turns into the bird. Surreal logic. There is a logic at work, but it is not logic of the physical world. It is, we might call it an imaginative logic. There we go. So great work there. Cool reference and work from RJ. Let's continue here with Rinnyfish. So Deer Wings Part 1 collab piece between Wanarlag and Rinnyfish. So let's make it big. And sorry for the lag here. I think this happened the last time with the Rinnyfish. Shout out to Rinnyfish. Thanks for being a good sport on that last time. I mean, this could be like a little animation series, couldn't it? Nice music. You know, maybe that's who made the music. I'm not sure. Just nice collab. Very nice collab. Only 4 Tezos, edition of 50. So very cool work here from Rooney Fish and Wanar Leg. And here's M. Suksu, another kind of cult artist I'd be tempted to call. Would hang really well with Machine and Walk, just on a kind of formal basis. Kind of has that spray paint airbrush sort of feel. And I think we have the translation here, just kind of a ghostly figure. I actually picked one of these up, 3 Tezos 33. There's still a lot of good stuff. Hey, muchas cosas. There is still a lot of good stuff. So maybe that's what that says. Nice message, actually, in uncertain times. Continuing on, Nev 1914, more kind of edgy work here. Arriba. And this one is feeling a little more abstract. Kind of has the sense of an interior here, but not sure. Some gradients. Really interesting work on the sides here, as these gradients kind of bleed in a little bit. These yellow gradients, even the white, I mean, these white rectangles. I mean, full points for originality and just edginess from Nev 1914. And of course, Hasdrubal Waffle. Coming from the Hasdrubal Waffle account, which has kind of been inactive for a few months here, what to expect when you're expecting a jump scare, I believe. And I think this was sent to a few people, Ile Little Cakes, Gatto Motto, and Virtual Reality, and Ahek and Santiago. So this is hilarious. So Ahek puts in an offer, and Hasdrubal Waffle just sends it. It was super good sport. Hasdrubal Waffle, just sending out free artwork. I think it's great. And look at how cool this is. So again, kind of a Ronald McDonald figure here. I think this is N64. We'll look at the tags in a second here, some writing. And we see that kind of familiar Hasdrubal Waffle kind of waviness. It's very subtle, but it's there. And not sure which software on this one. And we have some others that are N64 that I'll show in a second. And here, a reference to, I think this is the Facts of Life, Joni and Chachi and Potsy. Is that the Facts of Life? Are worried sick about you. Much bless. Please call, Fangers, please call home because Joni, Chachi, and Potsy are worried about you. So more kind of pop culture references, kind of obscure. You almost have to be a little bit older to know that one, if I got it right. So just more cool work by Hasdrubal Waffle. I don't think we've seen that one before. These are definitely new. Hi there, N64 Neats, made with Mario Artist Paint Studio. First 5 minted, auction format or flat price, so not sure how to sell it. So here they are, and this is pretty hilarious. There is the text Neats under, so very cool. And remember, Hasdrubal Waffle, I think, is using a Japanese kind of version of this video game. So not even quite sure what each of the buttons does, has to take notes. So here are the results, and you see the picture in the background. I mean, super edgy, original work here. And similar idea, you see what looks like almost like stock photography in the background and then a portrait on the front. Again, and there's like what looks like a paint roller or something with a rough kind of separation here. Rough selection, I guess we would say. And here's another one. So continuing this neat project, NEET, which Hasdrubal did like before I discovered Hasdrubal's work, and often, again, a lot of pop culture references. Not sure on this one what the references might be, but just cool looking works here by a super interesting and fun artist. Again, you see what look like maybe stock images in the background with these outrageous gradients over top. And here's one more. And yeah, it looks like somewhere like Red Rocks or something in Nevada or something. Neat 125. So here is the last one. There's a frog. One of ones. And of course, this is Martin Brook. El Camino es Largo, sold for 0.1. I missed this, I think, when it came out, because I don't remember this. Look at how great this looks. Fits the screen perfectly. Just another super interesting combination of painting and video from Martin Brook. So very nice work there. And Marcelo Pinel, let me turn this on, and let's see. We're going to have to run. We're already 49 minutes in. I'm going to have to speed through the rest of this. And the internet is not helping here. But another beautiful, what would we call it, astrological work by, here we go, by Marcelo Pinel, Scorpio. We'll see if it loads. Here we go. Well, you're starting to get the picture here. You are starting to get the picture. It is coming, so we'll do this one more time just so you get the feel for it. I mean, just gorgeous work here from Marcelo Pinel. There you go. And now we got it working. So, I mean, just a brilliant artist here. The latest in the astrological series here. This is Scorpio. And this sold out at 42 Tezos. Now it is an addition of 25. Nice haul. I mean, that's almost 1,000 Tezos, right? 900 Tezos, and now selling for 90 Tezos on secondary. No big surprise there. Cool artist. It's easy to like Marcelo Pinel's work. New mint in an hour, so kind of cool previews here too in black and white. And we've seen Marcelo Pinel work, like some of the work in progress shots, and it's quite an elaborate procedure. Jacques Disclosure, Modernity Failed Us. Interesting title. And here we see some big chunky pixels. Museum of Undersubstance Art by Jacques Disclosure. It's kind of a cool, kind of a crypto art sort of feel to it. And here's another one by Lex Doom. And those look like, were those Amazon smiles? This looks like the Amazon Smile logo that is dripping. And unfortunately, there we go. And here, it kind of hang nicely with the other one. Kind of has a bit of an AI feel, has a bit of a pixel art feel, and everything. So interesting feel. Social proof, one of our favorite topics over here. Edition of 13 on Manifold. It's great people are still using Manifold. Perfect Loop, Escape. I've never seen this artist before. I saw this on Twitter and I thought it was just kind of a pretty rad work at the end of the day here. Just pretty original, kind of cosmic work here. Even the way that the little homunculi here is flashing different colors, really nicely done. Escape, good title. And what did this sell for? Offers came in. Oh, so none sold yet. Perfect Loop holding on. Nice offers coming in too. Very good. Cap'n on Zora, Natura Flux. Now, I don't think we saw this. 167 minted. And here's the work. We did see like a beautiful gradient version of like this radar here. So here is the free mint, access denied by Cap'n, just more brilliance really from the very prolific Cap'n. And another work on Zora, this is Stip and Pixel. And this looks like a dog, shifting focus a little bit from a cat, from cats to dogs. And here it is. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit. So interesting kind of animation here, just really cool artist. Stip and Pixel on Zora, free mint, I believe. Yes, 59 minted so far. So it continues over on Zora, and look at this Haiti Rocket Beach with some beautiful, what look like kind of drawings that are being, and then this style that Haiti was applying to, say, the Pepes, I think, are now being applied to brushwork. So really interesting experimentation here. Here's a laptop, data. Very cool work from Haiti Rocket here. Nice and simple and kind of minimal, that one. Plus was Gamma with another one of these like super cool, pixelated abstracts, for lack of a better term. Really nice piece here. And that is 3 Tezos, edition of 16, increasing the edition size a little bit. Might as well, they will sell. A zombie cam with knitted cap. So this is Rip Cache. And basically it looks like the classic kind of surveillance camera by Rip Cache. This looks very manually done, doesn't it? As you would expect. And here with a knit cap, so almost giving it like the CryptoPunks sort of treatment, let's say, in terms of the color. And here, or Larva Lads, which I think is kind of a take on CryptoPunks. A zombie cam. Yeah, so the zombie version of the surveillance camera here with knitted cap kind of looks like it's ready for on-chain, doesn't it? This kind of cool, very manual looking pixel artwork by Rip Cache. Silvasan 2's Angry Apes. I thought this was really interesting in how minimal it was. Let me make sure we can see everything. And there's the apes going through. Let me make sure. We may have internet issues here a little bit today, or just too much open. Anyway, really nice work here. From Silva Santus, it is only 1 minted, but 30 days to go, so you have time here. And this is a little slow to load up, so I'm going to kill it. But very cool work from Silva Santus on Zora. And here we have Kurt Hustle Collective. Oh, I hope this plays. It's got really nice music, but I think it's going to be choppy here with our internet. Time off. So I love this piece by KHC, Kurt Hustle Collective, and there's the little hourglass there. Nice music, as always. And they make all their own music, so probably on this one too. A different kind of version of the hourglass, the spinning wheel at the bottom. You got the Windows and Mac here, and some time off from your digital metaverse lifestyle here. Let's just hit pause here. That goes for 3 minutes, and that is only 10 Tezos, edition of 25 on Object. Lorna Mills, who should, I believe, is going to be up. I need to just make sure she is confirmed and everything, but I think we're good for a Twitter space actually on Wednesday. So super cool artist. We've seen a ton of her work. Here she has a Hello Kitty in pink with a balloon here. So just very cool edition of 32, 20 Tezos each. I be spying. And let's run here. Mayu Frostfire Blasters. And here just another reference to video games here in this work by Mayu. Edition of 10. This looks like it's sold out. One left on secondary for $5.67. And Armilk 88, Tired Pixels number 62, almost looking like sampling from different kinds of screen renditions here. Very cool work here. Of course, Armilk has put out a lot of really cool pixel art, often with the stained glass sort of feel. DB Cooper with what looks like a Japanese gate here. Sakura, Journey to Kyoto in the spring, where ancient temples and cherry blossoms come together in a breathtaking display of nature's beauty. And one left on secondary for 7 Tezos. Nice piece. And here, Shoot This Moment, Sunny Side Up Egg. Let's see if this plays. This is a nice sparkly egg. Interesting piece. Look at that. All right, things are playing a little bit better here. 1080 is the price, and that is on secondary. Let's keep going here. Timothy Julien, removing the outlines to great effect here, I would say. You know, we were talking about Rezo printing with Mac. This looks like it would really work well with Rezo, especially losing the outlines. Of course, Rezo is sort of like a photocopier. It's like the kind of seen as the cheap version of screen printing sometimes. And it's basically colored photocopier where you know, and this would work really well as a Rezo. Timothy Julien, only 70 Tezos cents, 62 cents, edition of 10. And this is super cool. We've been looking at Seba Sestero's work, and I follow Seba Sestero. That is an glitch. New work for Verge, the American technology news website. So look at that. Did a work for Verge. So you gotta love that. Check out their feed for all the details on this. Nice explanation, really cool, kind of surrealist artists. And put on Behance. Behance featured this project in Best of Behance. How cool is that? And you can stream on Behance, by the way, from your iPad. Heads up there. Uyo66, GM beautiful people. So I don't know if this is new or not. I don't think we've seen this one, and kind of a devil figure with a lot of alcohol here on top. So speaking to our culture directly. And here's Glam Beckett, who a lot of us might remember as the Sad Girls artist, who did those Sad Girls PFPs. Really nice black and white work here. And it looks like a woman kind of lying on the ground, kind of with, you know, flower, maybe cherry blossoms are the trees. This artwork serves as a reminder that amidst all the destruction and suffering in the world, there are moments of beauty and serenity. So that is an edition of 30 for 0.06 ETH. Marenku and Burka Byram, a lot of collaborations here. Antidote. This is on Versum. So I'm not sure. This is from 2022, so actually this is an older one that snuck in there, but cool collaboration here and fit really nicely in this little area here. Santiago Ruao with a cool abstract here in black and white. This is on Instagram. And here, Cream Saf and Sky Goodman. Let's see if we can get this working. I think there's also some great music here too. So interesting collab. So kind of has David Lynch, maybe a little bit of David Bowie kind of vibe to the music. Cream Safa and Sky Goodman, cool collab. Virtual reality drawn and textured in Blender by Sky Goodman. Pixels and Sounds by Cream Safa. Renki with another just cool cube here, and with some nice kind of delay and feedback. And this is an edition of 10, and I'm not sure. Let's look really quickly here. I don't want these shows to be an hour and a half. Nicholas Sassoon, Metallic Feelings, another really cool animated abstract from Nicholas Sassoon. Here's a beautiful work by Datura. I almost started with this. It is going to finish off the show here. Gorgeous one of one. Only 60 Tezos here from Datura. If you don't have a Datura, if you don't have a one of one, this kind of looks like the one. You know, like, or one of the ones. Babylon 714. Beautiful work here. 60 Tezos. Another collaboration, Velpa Lucas, Pamelo Cerrone, and Jada. So big collaboration here. And just cool kind of analog video glitch. And you can almost see Pamelo in the animation here. Interesting three-way collaboration. Another Augers, Henrik Cartaxo. Let's just see if we can get that going. This is a minute and a half. Very moody in a good way. So much good audio here too. So an interesting kind of like frame on everything here. The reversible process. So just super cool. And this is 8 Tezos edition at 25. Couple from Ranex here and DJ Kuro. More collaborations here. And really nice kind of interesting abstracts they're putting out here. Here's another one. And continuing on, this is like a video game here. I think Spiegels tweeted this out. So again, playing with the kind of video game narrative, video game framing device, we might even call it, or context. Just very interesting, cool work. Only 2 Tezos. What's the edition? Edition of 15. I think we saw one by Itzel Reina before, Inside a Dream. Really cool kind of video game art. And here's one by Leprochant. And I think Santiago. So no volume on this one. Just make sure. An interesting piece here, kind of sci-fi feeling. And so Santiago, you can almost see in the visuals here of that the person is looking at. Interesting piece. And Koda Nakazono with a new, this almost reminds me of John, like with the windows and everything in the kind of graph paper on the biomorphic thing. And also in these cubes here. Almost looks like a collab, but it is not. Continuum number 169, 33 Tezos on secondary, only an edition of 5. Jada, who I think we were seeing work by in a collaboration just a few seconds ago. This was posted on X, and Strano with a wild work here. As you can see, just cool black and white animation. Not quite abstract. I mean, it looks like a big thing, like, I mean, cool stage lighting and whatever this is. And you see the tree coming out, what looks like almost cemetery resilience. And this is Ellie Lowe, who I think has finished the Trash series. So this is new work by Ellie Lowe. It's like this birthday. Very wild artist. Wild artist. As you can see, the Trash work finishes here. And here is Salawaki. I like the title here, Yoga. Very topical. And we have another, and we have a video also by Salawaki here. This is season finale. So someone watching Netflix or something, get the audio. And some fishes kissing. Salawaki likes to use fishes. Salawaki watches the season finale and after gets slapped back into reality.
What the fuck? Who are you?
Okay, so before the Twitter censors, so check it out, Salawaki on Object, and here is a tribute to Salawaki, Trout Whisperer by Santiago. So this is AI. As we move into the AI here, this is a family show over here. Big shout out to Salawaki. Venta, Enrichment. This was super interesting. So of course, we saw Tom Bombadil do this work yesterday that was very similar to this. Venta did like an AI, almost like plasticine style remix here. Very interesting experimentation, isn't it? Inspired by the artwork Enrichment by Tom Bombadil. A striking, distant contrast here. Very cool. I created this homage to the artwork, which you can now collect as an edition of 20 on Object. Just very interesting. Very, very interesting. And Bolin 132, this is collage and digital painting. Pretty nice textures in here, actually. Bolin 132, often these are one of ones. 12 Tezos, pretty reasonable. Chromatic Catharsis. I think they put out one of ones almost daily. Ocode, this I saw from Mikey Wilson retweeting it. This is an AI artwork. Caracol, nice painting. Very nice painting. Not exactly sure what's going on here. Rebels in the Village, Rebels Invade the Village, maybe. Really nice AI artwork. So, Un Mañana Zapista, or Zapatista, or however that's pronounced. And here is more Tukes with another stunner. Great painting here. I've returned with haste to where my love does lie. Really nice, you know, it's like a classic theme here, kind of the still life table with all the flowers and food, kind of reminds you of those Dutch still lifes. Shout out to Mom. Joain, GM, we keep making art, so another just nice addition here from Joain, who does AI and digital painting. Beautiful piece here. And indeed, it's true. That is what we do. And Canik Zepta, teaching astronomy. I thought this was just a cool subject matter and just an interesting idea and cool execution for an AI artwork here. Continuing on, Marina Amadova with the 1 of 1 for 65 Tezos, and we'll check the title here in a second. Just more interesting AI painting, Ilara. So AI artist Marina Amadova, so that is a new one. And here are some works by Strange Thing, made in AI, the Medici Abstract Neck Warmer Collection, inspired by the Renaissance. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. Almost has that 17th century Dutch thing going on, sometimes in British paintings. Very interesting as Strange Thing continues to combine historical and contemporary imagery at the end of the day through an AI synthesis. So just really cool and smart. Very, very smart. Look at that. So just kind of, you know, so many of these things, if you saw on the catwalk, you wouldn't even bat an eyelash. If anything, you'd be impressed, you know. And Skamra with a couple of more AI illustrations here of women at their keyboard, with always showing the UI and other windows on the side here, which is a really nice touch. Great color here, kind of makes the work almost. This great AI hand here. Here's another one by Skamra. So more great pieces here. I'm not sure where Skamra or if Skamra is minting these, but they should be minted. These are beautiful. Into the physical work we go. Parsa Mostagim with a really nice painting, marker and pen on paper. So marker and pen, not quite a painting. Marker and pen, really nice piece here. And Moto 583, Motohiro Hayakawa and Diego Lazarin. Nice work, eh? There's a whole bunch of great physical artwork that's coming out. John Mickey Art, Dog with Beautiful Ladies. Like, I'm seeing it all at once here. Where all of a sudden my Instagram, maybe the algorithm is starting to know what I like. Collage Popple, Di Rubato Dr. Nale. Another just interesting physical artwork. Look at this. Bobek Matija, Artilleryman. Beautifully painted over top. Total poetry. You gotta love how the pirate flag is not fully filled in. Lago. Very smartly, really well done painting. I mean, how many likes does this person have on this work here? Okay, 40,000 followers. They're pretty popular. Good, is what I would say. And of course, we looked at Nick Dalen before. So just really nice work here. More nice work by another super interesting artist. It's not easy to make things new when you're working with traditional materials here like these guys are. Very impressive. Here's another one. David Horgan Art. Just another pretty good looking painting. Has a nice feel to it. Park Life. And cool title, contemporary title. Here's another one. Heloise and Snowy. So just a nice kind of contemporary painting here. Beautiful. And here's Walk, painting sneakers because I can't buy them. Well, hopefully sooner or later, Walk will be able to buy these beautiful sneakers. Iraq 2020, Iraq, interesting and cool colors and beautifully executed. Of course, I follow Walk. That is a Twitter glitch. And nice, showing the wall and all the work that Walk does. And it's true. This is a pretty good looking piece of wall, isn't it? It's funny how randomness can be quite effective. Untitled by Machine. So more skateboarders with this great negative space here. Kind of distorted out and then applying this kind of airbrush. Just very, very cool work here by Machine. Again, people loved that work that started last show. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, take care.